Morning children, today's date is 18th of August and the year is 2020 and today's day is Tuesday. In our literacy class today we are going to study about fiction books and non-fiction books. Yes, so by now you should be knowing that a fiction book is not real. Yes, this fiction book contains story which is not real. It is imaginary. It did not happen in reality. हाँ, ये किसी की imagination है. ये सच में नहीं हुआ है. Okay, so that's a fiction book. And what's a non-fiction book? A non-fiction book talks about real people, real animals. Okay? So this talk about facts. Yeah, about real things. Okay? So let us look more closely today at non-fiction book. Okay? So here I have with me a non-fiction book. Okay? So just by looking at the photograph here, yeah, this is a photograph, yeah, it's an actual picture of a lion. Yes, is it an imaginary creature or is lion a real creature? It's a real animal, yes, it exists, it is real, and this photograph is of a actual lion. Yes, so in a non-fiction book, there are photographs. Okay, so they are real pictures. And in a fiction book, are there real pictures, real photographs? Is this the real photograph of the bear family? No. Yeah, this is an illustration. Illustration means someone's imagination is made into a drawing. Yeah, so the writer has written the story and someone has, according to his imagination, drawn the picture. Yeah, do bears actually look like this? Yeah, do they actually wear dresses and pants and coats and shirt? Yes, do bears actually live in a big house with beds and chairs in it? No, it is someone's imagination, it's not real. Okay, so this drawing here is called an illustration. Yes, it's someone's imagination, and just to make it into a picture, somebody has drawn it. Okay, but in a non-fiction book, this is an actual photograph of a lion. Yes, and then can we look at the title of the book? What's the title of the book? By reading the title of the book, you will know what the book is about. Yeah? So here the title is Little Kids' First Big Book of Animals. Yes, so just by reading the title, you know that this is a big book about different animals. Yes, and who is the author here? Who is an author? An author is a person who has written this book. Okay, just like there's a doctor who treats you. Yeah, a teacher is a person who teaches you. Yes, similarly, a person who writes books is called an author. So here the author is, it will be written starting with by. This book is written by Catherine D. Hughes. Okay, so that's the name of the author. Okay, so can we look at the title over here in the fiction book as well? Yeah, a fiction book also has a title, and a title gives you information about what is there in the book. Yes, just by reading the title, you will know what is there inside the book. So here the title is Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Yes, so by reading the title, we know that this is a story about a girl called Goldilocks and three bears. Okay, so in both fiction and non-fiction books, the title gives us information about what is there inside the book. And both these books will have name of the author. Yeah, the person who has written the book. A fiction book is a story. Yes, so there will be an author who has written the fiction book. And non-fiction book is talking about facts, about truths. There also there will be an author who has written this book. Okay, so now let us look more closely at non-fiction book today. Okay, so let us read this book. Now, something that is special about a non-fiction book is you don't have to read the entire book to know what is there in the book. Yeah, you can choose whatever part you want to read. Yeah, so there is a contents section, yeah, which gives us information about what all is there in the book. Okay, so we can read, say today, about polar bear. Okay, so I read the word polar bear and we can search for the page. The page number is 114. Okay, so we go to 114 and just read about polar bears. Okay, because we don't have the time to read the entire book. So we can just read a small section about polar bear. Yes, so here I have polar bears. Yes, so these bears are found on the poles. Okay, so let us read something about the polar bear. Okay, so now this is the actual photograph of a polar bear. Yes, this is not a drawing, this is not an imagination. This is a real photograph of a polar bear and the cubs of the polar bear. Okay, and here that you see a small circle here and something's written inside. This is called a caption. Yes, a caption gives you information about what the photograph is about. Yes, so here the caption reads, a polar bear has giant feet to help it walk on the snow. Yes, so it is telling me about the picture. It is telling me that the polar bears have giant feet. They have very big feet which helps them to walk on the snow. Yes, and there's one more caption here which is giving me some more information about this photograph. It reads, polar bear cubs stay with their mother until they are about 2 years old. Yes, so this is telling me about the cubs of the polar bear, that the cubs stay with their mother till they are 2 years old. Okay, so now let us read a little section about the polar bear. Okay, so here there's again a heading, polar bear. This big bear hunts for food on sea ice. A mother polar bear and her 2 cubs leave their winter den. It is early spring in the far north. Yes, so usually they stay in their den, and when it is springtime, they come out of their den. Yes, now it is giving me some information. Polar bears live by the ocean. Their home is usually covered with ice and snow. The polar bears' dense fur coats help keep them warm. Yes, so it is giving me information about these polar bears, that they live by the ocean and their home is covered with snow. because they are always staying in the poles. It is always cold over there, and their body is covered with fur. Yeah, they have a very furry body, and it helps them keep them warm. Yes, so this is about a non-fiction book. So this is giving me real information about real polar bears. And what was happening in here in the fiction book? Yes, this was also talking about bears, about a bear family. Yes, in this story there were 3 bears, and just see, they are wearing clothes just like you do. Yeah, they're wearing trousers and coats, and she's wearing a beautiful dress. But in real, did you see the polar bears actually wearing such clothes? No, they had a furry body, right? So this book was imaginary. It is someone's imagination. The author has just made an imaginary story. Yes, so here they were eating porridge and they went out for a walk. Yes, and they had so many furniture in their house. They had chairs and they had a dining table, they had a bed. But actually, do bears really have such things in the house? No. They live in dens. They don't have any furniture inside their house. Yes? So, the story about Goldilocks and the 3 bears is a fiction story. It's an imaginary story. And here, this is a non-fiction book because it is talking about actual polar bears. Yeah? The real polar bears. So this is the difference between a fiction book and a non-fiction book.